Hey everybody, welcome back to Premium Picks. Today we are going to break down UFC 305, Dricus du Plessis versus Izzy Adesanya for the middleweight title. We're going to give you our predictions and the props aren't out yet, but we're going to give you our bests and favorite spots. Before we get into it, please subscribe. And first fight of the night, we got Stuart Nicoll versus Jesus Aguilar. Nicoll coming in at minus 225, Aguilar plus 187. Stewart is the more dangerous fighter. The guy's finished 7 of his 8 fights. He's a finisher. He's the more dangerous fighter, but he's also the more unproven fighter. We haven't seen him against any real competition at all yet. At least with Aguilar, you can say, hey, he's fought Mendonca, and yes, it was a close fight, but he pulled it out. Not a bad win at all. And we've seen him one punch somebody as well. Like he's just more proven. He's been on the big stage. For me, I won't be playing this fight. If I was, I would probably go dog or pass, honestly, or I would be going Nicoll by finish because I think if he wins it, it's going to be by finish. If it drags on at all, my confidence level would be very low. Regardless, it's not a playable, bettable fight for me. What do you think?
I echo pretty much the same sentiments here. Nichols probably the way more dangerous guy. But Aguilar, being of his where he's come from, those guys are very durable and very hard to finish, you know what I mean? Um, I would say he would be a step slow on the feet for sure. But I think the grappling realm is pretty close, and I don't think Nicholl is anything Aguilar hasn't seen in the past, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, Aguilar is probably going to try to grapple here, and if he does, and he has any success at it, the plus 187 look really nice, right? So, I mean, it's a tough fight on a fight card that has some spots. Stuart Nicoll, unproven guy, man. He hasn't even fought yet, so yeah, man. I'm gonna go lean Aguilar for this one. I think he might just grapple fuck him because I think that's the way to go on this one for sure, right?
That's what I was thinking too. Try to zap some of that finishing ability out of him.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
what he did. He
I
kept
know what
reversing.
I mean.
No, he kept
All right,
reversing Mendonca and stuff, so it's quasi
exactly.
possible, right?
Exactly. Moving on, we got Keenan Song minus 188 versus Ricky Glenn plus 162. I actually kind of really like Song here. I don't really see how he fucks this one up. I think he should be able to basically keep this on the feet and just be the bigger, harder hitting striker here. I mean, it's Ricky Glenn kind of chinny, not terrible at all, but I don't know. I think it's Song's fight to lose. Give me Song, and I actually think minus 188 is not a bad value. What do you think?
I like Song here too because it's not that it's more a play against Ricky Glenn than it is a play for Song Kanon. Ricky Glenn in his last few fights has looked very fragile, and he hasn't looked very good in a long time, right? And I think he might be losing whatever he had from before. But I've backed this guy several times as an underdog, but now he's a tiny bit of a shorter underdog than he usually is, right? So. And Song Kanon's not the better fighter by any means, like in their primes, but I mean Kanon, his last 3 fights, he fought Kevin Jousset, who was a pretty good fighter. He lost that fight, but he showed a little bit of good stuff on that one. And against Ian Machado Gary and Rolando Bedoya, he actually beat Rolando Bedoya, and he got outstruck in that fight. But that just means he like you said, lands the harder strikes. I think visually he'll probably win this fight, if not finish Ricky Glenn. Unfortunately, I think it's the end of Ricky Glenn. He used to be a really well-rounded fighter. I think I don't know. It's more of a play on Glenn losing a step.
Yeah, I mean, and he was getting chinned at lightweight, so now at welterweight, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Moving on, we got Tom Nolan coming in at minus 1200, which is absolutely preposterous, versus Alex Reyes plus 700. I get it. Reyes is not good, and Nolan should absolutely knock this guy out. But who the hell is this guy to be minus 1200? He's blown it in this spot before. He has lost as a massive favorite, I think just as little as 2 fights ago.
Yep.
So there's no way in hell I'm playing Tom Nolan minus 1200. I'll wait for the props to come out. If a knockout takes me to like minus 200 or something stupid like that, sure, I will take him to knock him out for something like that. But with no props and just looking at those initial numbers, there's not a chance in hell. What do you think?
I think it's an unplayable fight because the under 1.5 is minus 360. That's nasty, man. These guys aren't even heavyweights. You know what I mean? So. I don't know, man. And you cannot like in wholeheartedly play minus 1200 Like for a guy that got knocked out 2 fights ago by Nicholas Mata. Not that Mata sucks, he hits like a truck. But yeah, man, that just means this guy can be knocked out. And minus 1200, Jesus, man, I don't know. He's the better striker. He's the better finisher. Best thing if you really want to do it is to go under, but the whole fight under is minus 950. So this is such an unbettable fight. Um, Tom Nolan's probably really good for DFS purposes. But other than that, man, I wouldn't even juice up a parlay with this guy. I think he wins though. I think he wins rather easily. I mean, if the first round one, Tom Nolan finish is like plus a decent amount, I'm not saying plus 200, but maybe even plus 150, it might be worth a stab. But other than that, I'm steering clear, bud.
Yeah, it should be quick. Moving on, we got Jack Jenkins minus 700 versus Herbert Burns plus 500. Listen, Herbert Burns, I call this guy chicken heart. I think he just gives up. I think he's got no durability, no cardio, no striking. Obviously, he's got a world-class ground game. And that's what kind of scares me here to a certain degree because I think Jack Jenkins kind of likes to grapple. He kind of seems to like to shoot takedowns. If he was smart, he will use this any wrestling ability that he has to keep us on the feet. He'll use those leg kicks, leg kick him to death, and beat him up with jabs and big punches. I am not a huge Jack Jenkins fan. I don't think he's as good as everybody else seems to think he is. I don't think he warrants minus 700, but Herbert Burns fucking sucks. Like I think I would knock him out. I think I could keep it standing and knock him out. So I don't know. I know ignorant thing to say, whatever. I think Herbert Burns is a quitter. I don't think he belongs in the UFC. I think Jack Jenkins will have enough brains to not go to the ground with him. What do you think?
Pretty much the same thing. I can't really say anything. Minus 700 is not worth Jack Jenkins. He does nothing really that well. Against Chepe, he got knocked out. And against, who was it right before him? Jamal Emmers, he stole a decision that he got clearly fought in. And in the other two fights, he owned the guy on the ground. That's the only bad move here is to take this guy to the ground. So whatever little striking that Jack Jenkins has shown in his UFC tenure, it should be used here. Even if it's like stupid striking and he just leads with his head coming in. Herbert Burns is no technical counterpuncher that's just going to pick him off. And that's the gist of it. And then by the second round, Herbert Burns is usually gassed out. And Jack Jenkins can take over. His gas tank's really fucking good. I'll give him that much. So, I mean, cardio and dumb old American heart should win this fight. He's not American. I don't know if he's American.
I was just about to say he ain't American.
You know what I mean? That heart from those little guys from tiny Texas that want to play football. That's what will win this fight, particularly. And nothing. I don't think it's very skillful. Unless it gets,
Cardio alone.
don't go to the ground and get tapped out.
That's the only thing that truly scares me. Like I don't think Jack Jenkins is good enough to be minus 700 on anyone, but
Don't
well,
get tapped
whatever. I
out.
can find it. All right, moving on. We got Casey O'Neill coming in at plus 140 versus Luana Santos minus 170. Not a Casey O'Neill fan in the way she kind of carries herself. I didn't like the way she was acting in that Maya fight. I didn't like just some of her behavior, but I like her as the dog here, truth be told. I think Luana Santos, decent enough grappler, good at grinding, I guess, but she's not a very good striker. Now, neither is Casey O'Neill, but Casey O'Neill is a big girl. She's pretty good in the clinch. Like, I don't think Santos is going to be able to get takedowns. I think this is going to turn into an extremely ugly fight. I think it's going to be probably pretty damn close because neither of them are impressive. Neither of them are great on the feet, but I think it stays on the feet for 90% of the fight. And I think that's going to make it a very close fight. And a very close fight, I'm taking the dog. And I think Casey O'Neill might even grow as a bigger underdog, to be honest. So I'm not playing anything right now. It certainly won't be a parlay piece. But if she keeps growing, it keeps going in one direction, I will stab Casey O'Neill in some kind of over fashion. What do you think?
Well, yeah, Santos should try to use her wrestling here, like she has tried to use her wrestling in all her other fights. But the only problem being is that she's quite low volume in those fights too, right? Like she's beaten Stephanie Egger by unanimous decision, taken her down twice, only 53 significant strikes. Sorry, she finished Juliana Miller, but that's not a big deal. She threw a lot in that fight, to be honest with you. But Miller, she's there to get hit, and then she subbed Agapova in the second round. But yeah, I mean, literally, it's like they got her down for two significant strikes in that fight. That's in the second round. So like that's not gonna work here. I mean, if Casey O'Neill has anything working for her, it's her volume. And then the last two fights, she showed, yeah, it was the last couple fights. She showed that she has that volume. That Maya fight that you talked about, I think she threw quite a bit of strikes in that one. She threw 137. She got outstruck. She got armbarred by Ariane De Silva there in her last fight, but whatever. You know, Lipsky. I think it was Lipsky, but she was coming. I think she changed it to De Silva. What the hell? I was looking at that. Queen of Violence, Lipsky tapped her anyways, and then against Modafferi, she threw 229 significant strikes in the 3 round fight. So, I mean, volume is on her side, and if this stays for any amount of time, I think she triples her up on the score. If she can't get takedowns, she has a 67% takedown defense, so she could keep 2 out of 3 from going to the ground and just getting to, it might be a close. Maybe Santos takes her down in the first round, but she, as the fight goes on, she kind of slows down, and Casey O'Neill takes over with the volume. So, yeah, I like your dog pick. I echo the sentiments, and I think the volume is going to be the changer. It's takedown defense and volume that wins Casey O'Neill this fight.
All right, we're in agreement. Moving on, we got Josh Cullibao, minus 150, sorry, versus Ricardo Ramos, plus 125. I think Cullibao wins just strictly on toughness. Ricardo Ramos is somebody who can snatch a quick submission out of anywhere. He's even got some snap on his strikes. He's not a bad finisher, but when he can't get that finish, he gets finished. And I think Cullibao is the tough guy. I don't think he's going to be able to put him away. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him. And Cullibao will end up putting it on him. So I am on the Cullibao side. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet it yet, but I am on the Cullibao side. Strictly toughness. I think he's the tougher fighter here. What are you thinking?
He is a tougher fighter. Neither is a great striker, but Cullibao will be the better striker in this fight for sure. This comes down to Ricardo Ramos being able to take this guy down and sub him or do something like that because he hella doesn't throw enough volume on the feet, and I don't think his striking is anything special unless it's some spinning back elbow finish that he's most well known for, right? So I mean, they both lost to Lauren Murphy, and it's because that he got taken down, right? Both of them got taken down in that fight, so. This one's a tough one to call. I think it's closer than what people think, but I think if Ramos can take him down, he has a good chance here. He really does, and I'm kind of torn here. I'm leaning to a little Ramos because Cullibao got taken down 3 and 4 times, but was able to get up in his last couple fights. I don't know. Ramos may be able to hold him down and just get that sub, or I don't know. It's tough. I'm torn on this one. I think Cullibao if it stays on the feet, Ramos if it gets down. I'm 50-50. I'm going to lean Ramos because I think Cullibao has some suspect takedown defense. Not really high on this fight, but I'm just I think Cullibao gets taken down.
I could be 100% wrong here. I just don't think Ramos is that physically imposing. He doesn't strike me as a big wrestler or like anything like that. Like he
Well,
has good submission, good grappling skills. I'm just not sure about his takedowns.
yeah, I don't really like it, but like I can't get behind
Oh,
Cullibao
fair
either.
play, man. Fair play for sure. All right, moving on. We've got our heavyweight slobber knocker, I guess. We got Junior Tafa minus 138. Shocking to see him as a favorite because this guy has sucked in every performance he's been in. Taking on Walter Walker, who was also fraud checked. He's coming in at plus 110. I would not trust either of these guys. Walter Walker came in with a ton of hype and he big time disappointed. But Junior Tafa, I don't know how many times we've given this guy a chance and he disappoints every single time. This is not Justin Tafa, guys. This is Junior Tafa. This guy has disappointed every fucking fight. I can't remember one fight where he like really impressed. He always lets us fucking down. So I actually am kind of leaning Walker, even though this guy looked terrible too. Like these are two guys that are terrible. Like I don't trust either of them. I just feel like as bad as Walker's performance was, I feel like Tough has had more bad performances. So I think I'm leaning Walker, but like don't go bet anything big on this. That would just be stupid. What do you think?
The funniest part is I didn't know where you were on this, and I'm leaning Walker too, for the simple fact that Muhammad Usman took Junior Tafa down and held him down for 2 rounds, and Marcos Rogelio de Lima took him down and just murdered him, right? So like if Walter Walker had anything go good for him in that Bresky fight, is that at least he pushed takedowns. And I think those shit ass second and third round takedowns might hit against a guy like Junior Tafa. You know what I mean? Like I think Lucas Bresky would fucking wipe the floor with Junior Tafa, to be honest with you. So that's how highly I regard Junior Tafa in the fact that as tired as Walker is, Tafa might be three times as tired in the second round because like Usman pretty much laid on him and humped him for like the last two rounds and won that fight. He may have lost the first fucking round, who knows? But like it's the same thing, man. I mean, ugh. I like Walker for the simple fact that he wrestled in that first one. He got fraud charged, but maybe it's heavyweight, right? So wrestling is a good key to have in this, and maybe he pushes the wrestling. I'm hoping he does. As a dog money, I'd rather have the wrestler than the guy that has shown me nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on. We have got Li Jingliang plus 250 versus Carlos Prates minus 334. I'm looking forward to this fight. I actually like both guys, truth be told. I like them both. But you got to roll with the hot hand here. I got to go with the touch of death. I got to think Carlos knocks him out. Again, I would be happy to be wrong, I guess. Like I like Li Jingliang, but he's been very inactive. Haven't seen him in a while, and Carlos just appears to just be, like I said, touch of death. So I'm excited to see him again and see if he can keep this hot streak going. I'm going to go with the finisher by finish. I'll be waiting for the prop to come out to see what kind of odds you can get because I know minus 334 don't love it, but the guy finishes. So I'll be waiting to see what the finish comes in at. What are you thinking here?
I think Pratas, I like him here. I'm gonna take him here because and you know what? You look back at these guys' records, you're gonna be like, Lee's fought the better guys. He's fought the better competition. 100%. Lee has the grappling edge. Well, probably in the fact that like I don't really think Pratas has had to grapple in his last few fights, you know what I mean, against any of these guys. And Lee, it's not like Lee throws a shitload of punches either in like, 3 round fights. He's throwing 16 against Magny and 59 against Elise De Santos in the third round. And he threw 89 against Zawada, he's shittier than Prates for sure. So, you're getting a guy that's not a crazy volume guy either, right? So who's going to be landing the better shots? I think Prates lands the better shots. Who's the younger fighter? Prates is the younger fighter. Who's the guy that's been fighting more often? Like you said, Prates has been fighting more often. Who is shown to have the touch of death? Prates is shown to have the touch of death. I know Lee's extensive UFC record. I know he's a well-rounded athlete with decent striking and a decent ground game, but I think I'm gonna run with the hype. But minus 334, like you said, sucks, but I think he wins. And you know what? That's it. I think he wins.
Yeah, yeah. All right, moving on to a fan-friendly fight. We've got Tai Tuivasa coming in at plus 187 versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik minus 225. I know the whole world loves Tuivasa. I mean, I do too. It's funny watching a guy drink beer out of his shoe, obviously, whatever. I think this stays on the feet. It's a striking match. Like I said, it's a fan-friendly fight. Tuivasa good leg kicks. Not like he has bad hands, but I think Jairzinho's going to have the better hands here. I think he's going to drop him at some point. And yeah, I'm on the Jairzinho side. I'm going to wait because I feel like Tuivasa has so many fans that people will be throwing money down on him. And I'm going to hope that this line gets closer. If it starts going wider, then okay, then I'll smash Jairzinho's bet button here, but I'm going to wait and sit. I think the line might move a little bit, and I'm on the Jairzinho side, and I think it will be by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I like him. I like who's fought the better competition? Jairzinho. What's his kryptonite? People that take him down. What does Tai Tuivasa do? He doesn't take people down. There's no chance he's gonna try it. Like I don't know if I ever seen him attempt it. He might have. So don't quote me on it. But like is he known for taking guys down? Nope. And if this stands as a striking battle, yeah, like you said, I know he has good leg kicks, but Jairzinho shown durability, cardio, and better technical punching ability than Tuivasa has ever had in his entire career. I feel like it's like Ty's last hurrah. I mean, he fought Moisin Tybura last time, but Jairzinho Rozenstruik is way better fighter than Tybura is. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, they're on different levels. Like, Jairzinho was like that guy that's just out of the top five that could always contend because he is a good kickboxer, but he just lacks that,
It's his low volume sometimes.
Right, right. So he lacks that in his takedown defense against the more premier guys, right? Some guys will take him down and stuff, right? So, yeah, I think Ty's outmatched here. I think he's skill for skill, cardio for cardio, punch for punch, and he's not going to take him down. So, Jairzinho all day.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the featured fight. We got Matthias Gamrot coming in at minus 350 versus fan favorite Dan Hooker plus 275. Uh, this is another one I might sit on. It pains me to say it because I hate Gamrot's fighting style, and everybody likes Dan Hooker's fighting style, but I do think Gamrot's going to roll here. Obviously, he's been dropped in almost numerous fights, but Dariush, for all his flaws as a fighter lately, he still does hit harder than Dan Hooker. He was dropped by Turner, but Turner definitely hits harder than Dan Hooker. I know Hooker beat him, but I'm talking about just power shots. So basically, if those guys dropped Gamrot but weren't putting him out, I just don't think Hooker's going to put him out, even if he has a moment or two, because there's a very good chance he will have a moment or two. I just don't think he's going to be able to finish him. And one thing Gamrot does is he will chain wrestle. He will just nonstop throw it, dive at the legs. It's annoying as hell to watch. Believe me, I'm rooting for Dan Hooker here. I am, but I do think Gamrot wins this fight. And I think because Dan Hooker is such a fan favorite that this line might tighten up because a lot of people are going to look to hit Dan Hooker. Leaving it for now. I'm on the Gamrot side. What do you think?
I'm in the middle here because Gamrot in the one, so he uses the takedown a lot. He likes to spam takedowns. His striking isn't great, but it's not bad, and he has pretty decent cardio. Problem is like the one fight where I saw footage where he couldn't take the guy down, which was the Fiziev fight. He pretty much lost the first round of that fight, right? And Dan Hooker, for all his flaws, like you said. He sports the 80% takedown defense and doesn't get taken down more than once in some fights and none at all. So if this stays on the feet, can Gamrot keep up with Hooker on the feet? I don't know. It'll be pretty close. I don't think he can though. So if he can't take him down, what happens? Minus 350 is too much for Gamrot. I think if he can't take him down, this fight is fucking really close. And I'm going on the Hooker side here because I'm just gonna say that Dan Hooker's takedown defense holds and he makes this a stand-up fight. And I've seen Gamrot when he can't win that stand-up fight, what happens, right? So
I mean, I agree 100%. I think Hooker smokes him in a stand-up fight. I don't think he can stuff the takedowns. But I do agree if he can, Hooker wins the fight.
oh yeah, man. I'm just saying it's just like no one's really like taken Hooker down and like smashed him on the ground. I mean, Turner took him down once, Makhachev took him down once and smashed him, but that's Islam, right? And then, no one's really taken him down. Jim Miller took him down back in the day. That's it, man. Like he doesn't get Jason Knight took him back in the day before he was actually really good. But like, so
But what
man,
wrestlers has he?
how many wrestlers has he fought? I did have his record up right away. He has fought Gilbert Burns, Iaquinta, Poirier, Chandler, Jalen Turner, I guess, and Makhachev, Arnold Allen. He's fought good guys. Jason Knight, and then just a bunch of shitty guys back in the day that doesn't really matter.
Might be a live bet. Wait and see if he stuffs the first takedown.
Yeah, that's a good point too. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with Hooker. I mean, I don't like 350 on Gamera for a guy that if I know if his takedowns get stuffed, and Hooker's the better striker. So these are the ones where I kind of look. And Hooker's he's shown in his last couple fights that he's not out of this shit yet. He lost to Arnold Allen and Makhachev. Like, there's no shame in that shit, right? So.
Or no, definitely not. Definitely not. Hey, I'm rooting for him too, man. So I hope you're right. Moving on to the co-main event, we got Kai Kara France coming in at plus 137 versus former title contender Steven Erceg minus 163. Kai Kara France is a striker with pretty good takedown defense. He should be the more technical striker here. He's pretty quick, pretty hard to control. And he's facing Steven Erceg, who just had a razor close fight with Pantoja. He probably lost that fight because maybe the wrestling. He got taken down too many times. This is a close fight. This is a harder one to predict than you think. I mean, at first glance, when I first heard this fight, I was all over Erceg, and I saw the odds. I'm like, why are the odds so close? And I guess they do make sense. Like if Erceg struggled with the wrestling of Pantoja, I mean, not that Kai Kara France is a wrestler. He's not. Don't get me wrong. But if he can't get Kai France down, who wins in a striking match? I'm not sure. Kai France is the more decorated striker, that's for sure. I'm not saying he's the better striker, but he's been striking for longer. Um, I'm still on Erceg just because I like him more. And I'm hoping at some point this can get to the ground and maybe he can snatch something up. But it wouldn't shock me if this becomes a sloppy, close, stand-up fight over 3 rounds. I'm gonna take Erceg. Like I said, I like the guy. Not a huge confidence pick. It will not be a parlay piece for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough play. I liked Erceg a lot before, right away when the odds came out too. But no, neither one of these guys are huge volume punchers. I think Erceg probably has the better ground game here, actually, to be honest with you. I don't think
Okay.
I don't think Kaikara France has much of a ground game. I mean, he does he had who did he was it Brandon Royval? Someone he tapped out back in the day. He lost to Brandon Royval trying to tap him out, and then he went to the ground there. So Askarov took him down a couple times, and Elmer, but what he does, where his bread and butter is the technical striking. That Askarov fight, he made closer than it was. I remember being high on Askarov in that fight, and he made it closer than it was because he didn't get taken down. I don't think he gets taken down here a lot, but Steven Erceg has to make this one grindy, dirty, sloppy, and I don't think he's going to get taken down. So I obviously think Erceg is the actually tougher guy here. My only thing about it is Kai gonna just throw more volume than Erceg? Like, and then just win some sort of shitty split decision. I think the safest spot is the over 2.5. I don't Erceg's not really known as a power puncher, and Kai France on the feet should stay away from his power, stay away from, you know, any of that kind of stuff. So I'm still leaning Erceg, but I don't like the odds as much as I did before. I think he's just
And
a
remember,
tougher fighter, and I think he's going to find his way to the ground a couple times.
I think he's the smarter fighter. I think Ursay's more well-rounded and smarter. And on top of that, for whatever reason, judges don't really like Kai France. He got screwed against Amir Albazi.
Yeah, he did because he doubled him up in punches, right? So like fuck, I don't know. That was a tough one.
But
I watched that one live. I remember. I thought he kicked his ass, but whatever.
we all thought we smashed our bets because
Yeah,
we predicted him to win that fight. We're like, oh yeah, and then we got fucked.
I thought he won. No, I thought it was easy win too.
The whole world did. Everybody did. All right, that brings us to our main event. The reason we're all watching this card is Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Du Plessis, the champ, coming in at plus 100. Izzy coming in at minus 125. The contender is the favorite. These guys hate each other, apparently. Who knows if they'll hug it out after, but the build-up definitely looks like they hate each other. I'm sure they respect each other for sure. This fight I'm sure every single person in the world has a very strong opinion on it, but truth be told, I don't give a shit who you are. I don't think you're that confident. I think at the end of the day, there's more. For me, at least, this fight comes down to more: is he still in this? Is he here? Is he done, or is he still in it to be the champ? Does he still want this? If Izzy is at his best, he is going to knock out Dricus, or he's gonna style on him. He's gonna be too much on the feet. He's gonna be too hard to take down. He's gonna be too technical. He in prime for prime, he is the better fighter. He's older. He's done it all. They say, you're not hungry when you're eating lobster every day, or whatever the hell the saying is. Izzy's experienced it all. I don't know how hungry he is. No one does. No one knows if he's going to be trigger shy and he's not going to let his punches fly. If he's going to play that low volume and be tentative, he's going to lose the fight. Dricus will take him down and he's going to lose the fight. If he lets his hands fly and he's aggressive, I think he finds the knockout. So what am I saying here? I don't fucking know. I'm saying this could go either way. I'm not overly confident. Um, I am going to be playing that the fight does not go the distance. I know Izzy's a big decision guy, but I'm going to say that somebody gets finished. And like I said, if Izzy's at his best, it's Dricus getting finished. If Izzy's at his worst, maybe he gets taken down and tapped or something. I know we've never seen him tapped, but either way, I'm going to say the fight finishes. Um, Not overly confident. What do you think?
I agree with the fight finishing because this is not an Izzy play. This is a Dricus play because Dricus goes for it when he can. That Sean Strickland fight was really weird in retrospect, right? So because I don't know what pace that was at. Dreykus didn't look tired, and I thought he would be a lot more tired by the end, but he didn't look so bad. Um, so if it goes long in a pace like that, I think. But the wrestling here, and anyone's like, "Oh, Drake is not a good wrestler." Oh, he's not a fucking good wrestler, but he finds a way to get guys down for some reason. He finds a
Just
way
a
to get
bull.
guys down. He's an absolute bull. I don't think Izzy can match strength for strength with him, but I do think he can match strike for strike because Dreykus is an awful striker compared to Izzy. Not even in the same tier as a striker is. Izzy is the epitome of the striking realm at this weight class, along with Alex Pereira when he was here, and such other guys. What does Strickland do? Keep him at bay and jab the shit out of him and keep pressuring him. The pressuring could come from Dreykus for sure. I can see Dreykus pressuring him, but he's not going to pressure him with like such a crisp jab like a Sean Strickland had, because his jab just isn't that good. The striking isn't on that level of Sean Strickland. Not that Sean Strickland is on the same level as he. He just knows how to his game. Dreykus will enter the pocket to take down Israel Adesanya. And if Izzy can, he has a decent 75% ish takedown defense. So if he can't hold him down, I mean, he's probably going to win this fight, Izzy, if he doesn't get held down. But if he gets held down, who knows? I think he can get smashed though too on the ground because he doesn't show a lot of urgency sometimes. And he play that fight. Pereira was a bad example when he got down and Pereira held him down. But, Pereira doesn't have that urgency on the ground. But Dreykus does. He does go for the ground and pound. And Izzy's not going to it's not the type of guy that would reverse him into some sort of roll to get back on top. It would be more push on the hips, try to get close to the cage and get back up, right? That would be his plan. Get back in striking distance and go right at it and tire this guy out. So, I don't know, man. It's a tough call on both sides. I think at this point, you got to respect the champion a little bit. And I think his wrestling, for shitty as it is, technically, he's gonna take down Izzy Dreykus by knockout on the ground, though. I think it's a ground in pound, and I'm I'll be shitting my pants the whole time. But now listen, man, if this line flips, I don't think I make the same pick that I feel like I'm gonna just go with the money on this one. Wait a little bit. It's not gonna be a big part of my night. I'm gonna do some parlays and then end up with some money at the end, hopefully, and find the underdog by finish in this fight.
Yeah.
That's probably what's gonna happen. This one's so jumpy. Like this fight can go either way. This is a tough fight. It's harder than Isabel. Not Isabel. It's my daughter. Israel Adesanya is giving Drake his credit for. And that's my issue. Like you said, like where's his head at? Does he even care that Dreykus is champion, or is he just taking him lightly? Like, or is he really training? Because he's got to step that takedown defense up. Because I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, Dreykus doesn't enter properly, blah blah blah. But Jan Blankovic took him down just by being bigger, and Izzy's not gonna be bigger than Dreykus in this fight. He's gonna get pushed
And
around a little bit.
everybody and almost every single fight has underestimated Dreykus. And if you underestimate this guy and take him lightly, he will finish you. He will. You got to think that Izzy's got to be motivated for this one, and he's not taking him lightly. But if he's taking him lightly, he will get taken down and he will get pounded out.
He's got to slam
So,
that takedown defense, buddy, because Dreykus is actually a big boy. A lot, a big boy. Probably bigger than like chest wise than like Alex Pereira. Maybe not height and all that stuff. But like he uses wrestling. He uses ground game.
yep, yep.
It's not amazing, but when he
It's
got
a
Whitaker down, he fucking
fact,
finished his ass, right? So
buddy, and he puts on just similar to Sean Strickland. He puts on a pace. He gets in your face, goes after you, and that can make people uncomfortable.
yeah, what you saw is he doesn't deal with pressure well. So he's got to be drilling these things because those are his weaknesses. When he gets pressured, when he gets wrestled, right? Stuff that Dreykus has shown that he does in fights, right? So you got to be weary. You can't be all over Israel and Asanya this week. I don't think so. Not that I don't think he has a chance not to win or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, you can't be strongly like on Izzy, like, oh, he's gonna kick this guy's ass. This isn't Israel Adesanya. I guess it's Paulo Costa. This is a different animal here, right? So
All right. Agree 100%. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are our early predictions, our early thoughts. This is a pay-per-view, so we are going to do another show, another episode probably in a day or two. Like those props are probably out tomorrow or Thursday. So we will definitely drop another video. Once those props come out, we're going to find our favorite spots and then we'll show you our tickets and what we're betting on. These are strictly our thoughts on the fights. Join us for the next one. Drop us a comment, like, and we'll see you in a day or two. Have a good one, guys.